certainly don't have happiness, and that's all there was. That was the whole point. And it's gone because you're suffering. You got nothing. That's not useful. But you know, that's not to say that I have anything against happiness if it happens to come along. You know, well, you know, you got to be grateful if it does come along, but you can't rely on it. That's for sure. That's foolish. But you know, you could inform young people that they have to figure out just exactly how capable and resilient they are, and the way they do that is by testing themselves against severe challenges, you know, voluntarily. We know that from clinical practice, from clinical science. Well, how do you make people resilient? Well, that's easy. You identify a set of challenges that they need to undertake, and you know, you kind of match the challenge to the person like you would for a child that you care for. And you say, well, why don't you know, see if you can withstand this challenge. Go and take it on. And the person goes and gives it a shot and finds out, well, yeah, I can do it. It's like, great. You're tougher than you thought you were. So here's a slightly larger challenge. Why don't you go check out that and see if you can do it too? And you know, your ability expands as you take on the challenges. That's how you make people resilient. You don't bloody well put them in safe spaces and what, shield them from microaggressions, you know. I think you only do that if you want to make people weak enough so that you can make them weak enough so that your ideological, what would you call it? The ideological formulation of victimization and oppression can find a ready target. So you take university students, that's it. You make them as weak as possible and as frightened and timid as they can be, and then they're hungry consumers of your pathological ideology. That's a hell of a thing to do to young people, man. And it's so interesting because it is exactly the opposite of what you will do with people if you're a clinician who's properly trained and you want to help people become stronger. And you know, there's like 10 different variants of clinical psychology: behaviorism and phenomenology and existentialism and humanism and psychoanalysis. There's lots of different schools of psychotherapy, but all the well-developed schools of psychotherapy do share at least one thing in common, and that is that you help people confront things they're afraid of and that they're avoiding, and that makes them stronger. Like that's the fundamental essence of successful psychotherapy, and the reason for that is because that's the fundamental essence of learning. So actually what you're trying to do, it's not like psychotherapists invented how to make people